Okay, welcome to another edition of It's Still Real to Me. Everything Zaslow Show 2.0, of course, brought to us by the title sponsor of Everything Zaslow Show 2.0, Anna Jarin Levine, Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. If you're involved in any kind of an accident, hit and run, slip and fall, motorcycle, boating, you let Anna Jarin Levine, Accident Attorneys, put their skills to work for you. 800-747-FREE. 800-747-3733. We're coming at you here with our usual live stream timing of Sunday night in between the 4 p.m. slate of games and the 8 o'clock Sunday night football game, which we all know tonight is Dolphins and Bills for the AFC East. Our pal, of course, is Joey Levin. We're going to get you caught up with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Huge week for WWE. First, though, I want to remind everybody, we got the NFL playoffs right around the corner. NBA is in full swing. Bet Online has you covered with all the up-to-the-second odds, news, and scores. With additional odds, lines, trends, and info on both desktop and mobile, you can access the world's best wagering information anytime. Head there today to get into the action and see all the updated odds. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, we're going to get everybody caught up in the huge week in the world of pro wrestling like we always do. Want to make sure you like, you rate, you comment. If you comment throughout the show, we'll read your comments or questions throughout the show. We love when you guys participate. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, wherever, make sure you're also subscribed on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Zaslow Show. That way we know that we get all of the comments and questions from you guys. Appreciate it. Like, for instance, my man Parker, Zaz, did I hear you back on radio recently? Not local radio, but I was, I work at ESPN now. All right. Like I'm at ESPN radio, and like this afternoon I did ESPN radio NFL game day with Herm Edwards. So yeah, you may very well have heard me on ESPN because I work for them now. But obviously, Zaslow Show 2.0, It's Still Real to Me, our pro wrestling podcast. Joey, how you doing, man? Are you excited about tonight? Are you feeling very nervous about everyone's favorite little football team, the Miami Dolphins?
Excited, a little nervous. I don't even know how to feel about tonight. I'm not sure what I want to happen in these.
The Jaguars fucked us this afternoon is what happened.
Right. But it's like, do you want to go to KC or do you want to play the Bills for a third time? That's basically it, right? Like those are the two options at this point, and it's neither of those sound great. But to be honest, normally I would be like, there's no way I would ever want to go to KC. But I've watched KC a bunch this year. They're not KC.
They're not good.
Now, Pat Mahomes, any given game can beat you. It doesn't matter. He can beat you. He's that guy. They're that good. He's that good. But man, they're not very good this year. So I don't know even if we, you beat the Bills this week, if it's like a close win, but the Bills look good, I don't know if I want to play them again. If you come out and beat that ass, yeah, let's play them again at home, and that's good. But it's like neither option seems. That's what makes me nervous. The game itself, it's like I'm excited, but it's just the fact that neither outcome is that appealing to me.
So here's how I see it. All right, you want, which do I think is an easier game? Hosting Buffalo in the playoffs or winning at Kansas City? I think winning at Kansas City would be easier. But here's the thing. This team's trying to win a Super Bowl. And the way to win a Super Bowl is by getting the two home games in the wild card and the divisional, as opposed to going to Kansas City, winning there, and then having to win at Buffalo and having to win at Baltimore. That's a disaster. The second part that I would say is, okay, well, it would be really hard to beat Buffalo 2 weeks in a row. If you beat Buffalo tonight, the mindset you have to have if you're the Dolphins is, okay, and now next week we get Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert back, so we're going to be even better. Like that's the way you have to look at it if you're the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't really think about it that way, in the sense that one way or the other, there's a good chance that if you win games, you're going to have to play Buffalo again in the playoffs.
Of course.
So it's a matter of, do you want to play them at home or do you want to play them in Buffalo? And yeah, obviously want to play them at home. So yeah, that makes sense. So there it is. That's what I want.
There you go.
You answered.
But I think it's a good emotional hedge where if the Dolphins lose tonight, it's like, all right, at Kansas City is not the worst thing in the world. I think that's the way to look at it.
It's not great. It's not great, but if it was ever a year where it was okay, this is certainly the year. They just don't look like themselves.
So look, if you got some Dolphin questions, we're all fired up about the Dolphins, and we promise we're going to get you out of here before the Dolphin game starts. So if you got questions about the Dolphins, you can throw those in there. We'll read them. But obviously, pro wrestling, huge week in the world of pro wrestling. And look, I've been in Utah the entire week. The Zaslows are a skiing family. We got back really late last night, like 1:30 in the morning. But the night before we left was Monday Night Raw. So I'm watching Monday Night Raw here in the Zaslow mansion, of course. And me and my son are just casually watching. And the last time we spoke, you and me, we each gave our predictions for who the returning champion's going to be. You were thinking maybe it's going to be Andrade, right?
Well, so I just want to also say, I had a feeling when we were talking about it that it was a WWE champion. And we were like, well, it could be any champion. But it turned out it was always a WWE champion. So our predictions were like, we were kind of like off on our predictions either way, because we thought it could be any champion, but it was a WWE champion.
I was going really off the board. I thought we were going to see the return
I was
of
thinking Cardona. I was saying if it's any champion, I was thinking Matt Cardona, maybe.
Yeah. So awesome bait and switch that WWE pulls. You know, and I always thought it was weird where they were promoting all throughout the show a returning champion tonight. And I'm like, why do we need to promo it? Like, let's just have it be, let's have it surprise us. Why are we promoting the returning champion? I didn't like that. And so then Jinder Mahal comes out. And at this point, you know, if you're savvy enough, you're like, oh, this shit's going to be good. Because you know that's not what they're promoting is Jinder Mahal coming out. All right. But no part of me thought that The Rock was about to come out. Like, did you think that maybe we're getting The Rock? Because it did not occur to me.
Well, no. And especially because of the promo that he cut. Like, the whole segment was, until the very end, the whole segment was very strange.
Unless Rock is running for president, right?
Well, so when The Rock's music hit, I was like, holy shit. Is he going to announce that he's running for president?
Right,
like,
right.
Like that was literally my first reaction was he's coming out there. Like this is where Cena comes out. This is not where The Rock comes out. This is where Cena comes out and says,
Hulk Hogan.
No, this is where Cena comes out and says Osama bin Laden has been compromised to a permanent end. And then we're all happy that we're in America, but not The Rock.
Yeah.
Like, this is not The Rock's spot. Even Austin, it's like you're gonna come. Like Austin even makes more sense there to an extent, where it's like, you know, protect America and chug some beers. Yeah. Rock coming out in that spot, I was like, whoa, what is happening here?
So all of a sudden, me and my son, we perked up on the couch. Holy shit! It's The Rock, and still, The Rock's cutting his promo, and it's, I don't know, maybe I'm naive. It still didn't occur to me what he was about to do.
I had no idea.
I had no idea.
I had no idea what was happening. Yeah, I was like,
no idea.
The whole segment was so weird. I still think the segment was weird. I think they gave Jinder Mahal way too much time to run down. I don't have a problem with him running down America. It was just long. Yeah, it was long and aggressive.
It really could have been just 90 seconds of him talking.
Right. It was a lot. And then even the back and forth between them was kind of long. Yeah. Which just seems like that's The Rock's thing nowadays, which is fine. Like he comes out, he soaks it up, he does the back and forth thing. But up to your point, I don't think it's a naive thing. I had no idea what was happening.
I had no idea.
For a moment, I thought it was just like, all right, we did a gimmick to get eyeballs. I didn't think what was coming was going to happen.
And so then what turns out to be just, I thought, a fucking awesome line. And I still never saw it coming. Yeah, by the way, boy, Rock was blown up. He was out of breath.
Oh, yeah.
He was way out of breath.
That's probably the first time he's wrestled in.
You better hit the ropes a few times, Rock. All right. He was blown up. And then he does the whole, I'm going to go outside. Rock's hungry. Should I sit at the bar? Should I sit in a booth? Maybe I should sit at the head of the table.
Or should I sit at the head of the table?
I literally, I never saw it coming. Not even close. And it was
saved
an
all of
amazing
Monday
line.
Night Raw for me. It saved all of Raw for me. I
I
was
thought
just
it was a
like,
good show. I thought day one was
no,
good.
no, but I'm saying like if they teased a champion coming back, The Rock comes back and doesn't hit that line, the show's ruined for me.
Right. There's not a lot to it then. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just saying like the end, I mean, the show was good, obviously, but I'm just
I thought it was
saying
very
like
good.
the tease I watched in part because of the tease and in part because we're in free agency season in professional wrestling. So you never know what can happen. So I partially was watching because of that, but I mainly was watching because who's coming back and what's going to happen. And it's like, if it just ends with The Rock protecting America, all right, I get this off my screen.
Yeah.
But should I sit at the head of the table was like an all-time mic drop moment.
I think it's an all-time line. I really do. All-time line.
Yeah, and especially just like the fallout from it. It essentially sets up potentially the biggest match in the history of the company. Like it's so big. It's so big. Like,
well, so let's talk about that.
I mean, look, Giovanni got it. I mean, what a week in pro wrestling. Giovanni, you couldn't have hit the nail on the head even anymore. Like The Rock saying that just makes the whole week.
We talked about this a few weeks ago when we were talking about when Punk entered the Rumble, because I think both of us agree we don't think that Cody's winning the Rumble. And then the question became, so are we not going to get Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania? And then I interjected, well, I mean, maybe we're going to get Rock still. Like that would be the thing that takes the place. But still with nothing to really, no real evidence that is on the table, until this week. And so my initial thought is, all right, there it is. We're getting Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. But we may very well be getting Rock Roman in Perth, Australia at Elimination Chamber.
I don't think
right?
So. I know that's what everyone's saying, but I don't think so.
It's a stadium show. I mean, they're gonna have 50,000 people.
I know, but it's The Rock. It's The Rock Roman. I think you got to have it at Mania. I think you got to have it at Mania. I get what everyone's saying because everyone is.
What's Rock going to do for the next 3 months?
I don't know. Whatever The Rock does.
No, but I mean, like as far as Rock and like it's like 3 months away. WrestleMania.
I know, but I mean, Elimination Chamber's 2 months away. Yeah, I mean, I get why that is on everyone's mind because the assumption is that Cody still has to finish the story at WrestleMania. There's two things. One, he doesn't have to finish the story at WrestleMania, right? That's one.
Right. Why is that Cody Rhodes' birthright? A, he has to finish his story, and B, when he does, it has to be against Roman Reigns, and then C, when he does, it has to be WrestleMania.
But here's my other thing. Rock versus Roman's not going to be for the title. It's not going to be for the title. It's going to be for.
I understand that. How do you get around that then?
Roman main events both nights. Roman main events both nights.
The Rock which night?
The second night.
And did Roman lose his title the first night?
Possibly.
Oh, I think it loses steam, man. You can't
or the first night. Why can't The Rock main event the first night? The Rock shouldn't have to close WrestleMania. If he could, first of all, look, if you're saying that this match could happen at Elimination Chamber, then it could certainly close out night one of WrestleMania 40. So he could lose the head of the table night one and lose the title the next night.
You don't think that if he gets pinned on Saturday night that it loses all the momentum going against Cody on Sunday night?
No, he's still the champion. And the story is not, because there's two stories here. The main story of Rock and Roman is, can Roman beat The Rock to cement that he's the head of the table?
Right. Rock doesn't care about the title. Like that's not what it's going to be about.
Right. So the story there is I think more about Roman, because look, at the end of the day, The Rock is part-time. He's not going to be there after WrestleMania. We don't know what's going to happen with Roman after WrestleMania, but Roman is still here. So the story is Roman actually the head of the table? Can he can he cement his legacy? The story of night two is not about Roman. The story of night two is about Cody. Can Cody finish the story? And it takes steam off of Roman. It does not take any steam. Let me tell you something. The pop is not going to be any less if Cody beats Roman. It's not
really. You don't think so?
No way. The people want it so bad. They still want it so bad. I don't think it takes any steam away from it.
Okay.
I just don't I don't think so, but I don't know. I did see another theory. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Randy Orton wins at Rumble and Cody finishes the story against Randy Orton, which would make more sense.
No way.
Given their history.
Absolutely no chance. No chance, because you can't. Although, unless you're going to have Roman fight Rock, at like
for the head
match
of the table.
at WrestleMania for head of the table. But otherwise, I mean, look, here's why it can't happen. Not that it's crazy for Roman to lose at Royal Rumble, but it's crazy for Roman to lose the title in a 4-way. It needs to be one-on-one. It has to be.
Right.
It's got to be a singles match.
Yeah. But Big Nick is saying that Perth asked for The Rock.
Oh, I'm sure they did. I'm sure it's like Saudi, where it's like, give me all the big stars.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. WWE's inclined to give sponsors what they want lately, since Saudi deal for Fox for what they wanted in others.
Yeah, no, I totally think that's possible. Because I mean, look, Roman against these guys, and we'll get to that in a second here. Then Roman against Rock in February. Then Roman against Cody at WrestleMania. That's a hell of a stretch right there, man.
I agree with what Nick's saying, and I agree with what you're saying about the sponsor thing. This is different. WWE, yes, the sponsors are important. The sponsors are always going to be there. This is a legacy, an industry and a business that's built on legacies and moments. This is a legacy moment. This is a moment that is going to be on every promo for the next 50 years. This is Rock Hogan at 18. This is Rock Austin. This is Hogan Warrior. This is that kind of match. I don't think they're just going to put it on a show because a sponsor asked for it. I really don't. It's possible, but this is WrestleMania 40. Roman, who is now in the conversation for best of all time. Mm-hmm. Rock, who has always been in the conversation for best of all time. Family, a storyline that's been going on for 4 years. We don't know where the storyline goes after this match. Like, I don't think it can be at Elimination Chamber. It doesn't feel right. I'm with you guys. Like, a lot of things, like Cena, okay, sponsors, give them to the sponsors. Like, Brock comes back, Austin comes back, sponsors, whatever. LA Knight in a Cheetos match, give it to the sponsors. Rock Roman, I don't think you just give it to the sponsors because they want it. I think this is a Mania. It has to be a Mania.
I hope you're right. I do. I hope you're right. But here is how.
And Cody doesn't have to finish the story at Mania. He doesn't have to finish it against Roman. He doesn't have to finish it against Mania.
I agree.
I know people are going to be mad about that, but like SummerSlam's not that far after it. Like, it can happen without.
Totally agree.
He just has to win the title. The story's not about Roman. It's about the title.
Totally agree. You know how you do it? If you want Roman to main event nights 1 and night 2, which makes this a historic WrestleMania, to have the same guy main event 2 nights in a row. Obviously, it's never happened. Rock Roman night 1, Cody Roman night 2, but Rock wins night 1. I mean, Roman wins night 1 against Rock, and then goes into night 2, and whatever happens. Maybe Roman also beats Cody, only enhancing Roman's legacy, or Roman loses to Cody and Cody wins the title, and it gets the massive reaction because The Rock still had not been pinned in a singles match, because we don't actually believe whatever they're fighting for, be it for the titles or for what Rock really wants, which is head of the table, we don't actually believe Rock's going to win. Like, he's not going to win.
Right.
So you could do Roman versus Rock night 1, Roman wins, and that only increases the build for night 2 against Cody.
Fair.
That could be
That's
the
fine.
scenario.
Yeah. By the way, and I just want to address this. So Giovanni asked, where does that leave CM Punk if Roman Reigns main events both nights? And I'll tell you where it leaves them. They opened night 1. And the reason why you do that, to me, is we still, at this point, we don't know what CM Punk can do in a 40 minute WrestleMania. We just don't. So, like, the fans are going to be itching for CM Punk versus Rollins. If they have to wait 4 hours night 1 or 4 hours, whatever, to see that match, and then it disappoints, it's going to be deflating. Like,
I told you, I think we're going to get a little bit of that CM Punk endurance test at Royal Rumble. I think he has a real chance to win it, and I think he's going to be a very early entrant.
Right, but I think if you get open WrestleMania 40 with that's a big pop. That's a big moment.
Remember, he also opened, what was it, All In, right?
Yeah. So I think you just have him open the show. Remember, again, from the day one when Triple H started, when he took over, he has said many times, starting the show is just as important as ending the show.
Seth Rollins won the title opening WrestleMania a few years ago against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. So I think I'm not saying that I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked. WrestleMania 40. There's been talk of like when Roman finally drops the title, he's taking time off. He may not even. I mean, like we don't know how much longer he has on this run. Could be forever, but it could not be that much longer. If there's a chance it's not that much longer, having him main event both nights and dropping the title on the second night,
I think that'd be cool.
That'd be incredible for WrestleMania. It's 40. They got to do something huge.
I think that'd be really cool.
Yep.
So we also know after SmackDown on Friday night, and it's funny because the last time we spoke, we both were in full agreement. Randy Orton's winning this match at New Year's Revolution. But I did bring up the caveat. Is there a scenario? And you quickly shut it down, and I quickly agreed with you. Is there a scenario where we're headed toward a fatal four-way with all of these guys? And both of us thought that no way, that's definitely not happening. And that's exactly what we're getting.
Yeah, I mean, my first instinct when they all started going at each other was when it was announced was that it might happen, but it made more sense for it to be just Randy and Roman.
Because we thought we were going to have like a separate program almost of AJ Styles and LA Knight.
Right. Which that's probably still where we're headed. Or
now,
I guess now we don't know.
Now, do you believe that those guys will still be in the Royal Rumble?
Not all of them. Not all of them. I definitely, I don't think Randy. I could see either one of the other
guys. Do you think
guys.
the Royal Rumble is the main event, or is the four-way the main event? I think if Punk is winning the Royal Rumble, that has to be the main event.
If Punk's winning the Royal, yeah, I think also because are they going to do a fatal four-way main event? I don't think so. I don't know. I think Rumble will be the main
event. If Randy Orton was to win, which he's not going to, but if he was to win, that would obviously be the main event. Roman losing has to be the main event if he's going to lose. But if he's going to hang on to the title, I think the Men's Royal Rumble will be the main event.
Yeah. Big Nick asks when we get to it, was the triple threat too good to have a winner?
What do you think he means by too good?
Like too good of a match? I don't know. Too good. Nick, what did you mean by too good?
It was really good.
I don't like too good that in the middle of the match, Triple H decided we're doing a fatal four-way.
Well,
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe that's what he meant.
Right.
I mean, it was a good match. Yeah.
It was very good. It was very good. So we know that that's the main event for Royal Rumble. We also know for Royal Rumble, Kevin Owens wins the U.S. title tournament. He's fighting Logan Paul. I thought the ending was cool with him knocking him out and then, up the ramp. I don't think either one of us believes that Kevin Owens is going to win, right? We think Logan Paul has to go into WrestleMania because of all the pub, all the promotion, YouTube. Logan Paul has to be the U.S. champ going into WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, I think this is his first defense, right? So
yeah,
it would be weird for them to take it off of him that quickly, unless he has other stuff that he just can't be around enough for. But yeah, I don't see any scenario where KO loses that match. Or wins that match.
Where he wins it, yeah. Friday, we had other awesome stuff happen on
By the way,
Friday.
Real quick. So Giovanni asked, back on the four-way, he said, how does Roman get out of the four-way? You can't bury AJ and Randy's return and halt LA Knight momentum, not to mention Priest. Only way to recover is that match with The Rock.
How does he get out of I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm not overly concerned about though. But yeah, I mean, let's not even mention Priest in that conversation. Priest ain't cashing in on Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I don't think anyone. Yeah, I really rarely believe in that. Gets buried stuff. These are major stars. AJ Styles, Randy Orton, even LA Knight. And if you're a major star, somebody's got to lose. All right. If you're a major star, losing a match doesn't all of a sudden bury you. And if it does, then you weren't really over anyway.
LA Knight is going to take the pin. It's probably going to be because of AJ, and that's going to start the feud.
Yeah.
And then
and it won't hurt anyone in the process.
And by the way, and then they can come out of it, and Randy can say, you didn't pin me, I didn't pin you. Let's fight at Elimination Chamber, and they can actually have their one-on-one match. Randy still deserves a one-on-one. Randy looks great. He's been great since he came back. I wouldn't be mad at continuing the Randy Roman stuff until we really decide what's going on with Roman at Mania.
Yeah, and who knows? Let's say LA Knight eats the pin because of AJ Styles, and then in the Royal Rumble match, LA Knight eliminates AJ Styles and kind of gets his payback there. You know, there are ways to cover for that. We had other things happen on SmackDown as well. Io Sky, she I think it was her first title defense. And I mean, this title defense, I love Io Sky, but it's had zero momentum. Like, her having the title is all about whatever they're going to do, setting up them turning on Bayley with damage control. It's totally a prop in this situation. Mm-hmm. And so with that said, I got to tell you, I'm in a place right now, man. I'm rooting hard for Bayley to win that Royal Rumble. I think that will be like, if she could win that Royal Rumble and it sets up her and Io, maybe it's for WrestleMania. I don't know, but I'm really rooting hard for Bayley to win that Royal Rumble. She's never won it, obviously. The other women in the Four Horsemen have had major WrestleMania moments. Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch. Bayley's kind of like the forgotten one out of those girls, but she's involved in, I think, what has become a really good storyline. Like, what other women's faction is out there? Is there another women's faction in pro wrestling? And I think Damage Control's got some good momentum going right now. They tease the turning on Bayley, and then they pull back, so they're going to lull you to sleep with it, and eventually it's going to happen. And I think you're going to have a really good story there. If Bayley can win that Royal Rumble and then take the title away from Io at WrestleMania, I'm into that story, man. I'm rooting hard for Bayley.
Yeah, but the other thing I was thinking too was she's been doing a lot of promos about how Kabuki Warriors are going to win the tag titles and she's going to win the Raw title, and then they're going to have all the gold. So what if she wins Royal Rumble and challenges Rhea and loses to Rhea and continues like the whole like separation, like Kabuki Warriors win the titles, Io's the champion, and then Bayley has nothing, and it sort of continues that separation of them not wanting to be associated with her, which gets more like, because as of right now, like if she wins Rumble, I know that people will like Bayley when she turns, or when they turn on her, or she turns on them, whatever. But they, like I've said, and this is just where I feel, they also love Io and they love Asuka and they love Kairi Sane. I think you have to really, really build some sympathy for Bayley before the turn happens. And her getting her ass kicked by Rhea at Mania, and then them really turning on her for like being a loser, it could set it up for, the rebuild of Bayley down the line. And then, whoever wins, or I don't know, whoever wins Chamber, I guess if there's a women's Chamber, I guess could fight Io at Mania. I don't really know who then you have at Mania, but I was thinking about that too. But Bayley at Io versus Io right now at Mania makes the most sense, because I don't know. I just don't really know who else is out there. The other thing is, I feel like whoever wins Mania has to go after Rhea, because
whoever wins the Rumble.
Sorry, whoever wins the Rumble has to go after Rhea, because if it's going to be Bayley and Io at Mania, there's already a built-in story to how we get there. There's still literally nothing going on with Rhea. She has nothing as a champion. She has no storyline. So the storyline is going to be someone wins the Rumble and goes.
Well, who could it be? I mean, Bianca has already won Royal Rumble. I don't think she's winning it twice. Becky Lynch has already won Royal Rumble. I don't think she's winning it twice.
Could be.
Giovanni mentions here that Jade is winning the Rumble.
I don't think so.
I mean, for her debut winning the Royal Rumble, I don't think that's going to happen. And then
her second match,
WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley. That's a little bit much. We got to slow down a little bit,
Right.
And I love Jade Cargill, but we got to slow down a little bit there. That's too much. Yeah. So I don't know.
I that's what I'm saying. There's nothing for Rhea. There's nothing, but there's a story there on SmackDown.
I'm sure Charlotte Flair getting hurt put a wrench in a lot of the plans,
Sure. I agree. Although still, I mean, if it was going to be, yes, I agree. But I feel like at this point, what are we, just a few weeks away from Rumble. Rhea doesn't have a feud.
She's got to defend the title at Rumble, right? She's not going to be in the Royal Rumble match.
I guess so.
Has to.
By the way, can I just say, shout out to Mia Yim. That match was awesome. She's
Mia
awesome.
Yim's cool. Yeah,
I think
cool.
she should get more run. She almost killed herself.
Yeah, she looked great too.
She almost died on that dive. That's like she landed on her face, which was crazy.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's great. And I think she should. I think she needs to get a little more run. But, anyways,
finally, one more thing here on WWE. Karrion Kross debuts his new stable. I'm into it, man. I've always liked Karrion Kross, and I know that they're doing something different because nothing has worked so far. So I'm rooting for him, man. I think he's a cool character. AOP, especially when they were in NXT, were so awesome. I'm glad they brought Paul Ellering back. I really thought AOP lost a lot of steam from NXT to the main roster when they dropped Paul Ellering. I mean, he hasn't aged a day. He looks exactly the same. And while, if this makes sense, Scarlett looked better blonde, but both her and Karrion Kross, something needed to change. And so I think it was a good idea, her changing her hair to the brown. I thought she looked cool. And I'm into that. I'm into that group right there. And it's funny because WWE wanted Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits to be heels so bad. And just the crowd wasn't having it, man. Like,
yeah, they're fake. I mean, they can't not root. I contend, I've said this for a long time. The only way any one of them would, either of the Street Profits was ever going to be a heel was if Dawkins turned on Montez Ford, because Dawkins has some heel in him, I think, and he's also really good. And Montez Ford has always been the one who gets like the spotlight. So the turn there would have been really good, and I think they could have been fine as singles competitors.
And by the way, for people who want Bianca to join them, Bianca's too big to be a side piece in a stable, man. Like, she's not joining any stable.
Yeah. Now, if they were actually over as heels and you wanted to turn her heel, that could have been okay. But they're not. They're fake. I mean, everybody loves Bobby Lashley apparently at this point in his career, and everybody's always loved the Street Profits. This group with Karrion Kross, it's cool. It's fine. It's not going to go anywhere. Like it's just not. I mean, it's going to be a cool like mid-card stable, and I feel like
I don't know, somewhere along the line, like Karrion Kross can't be U.S. champion or be Intercontinental champion. Of course he can.
Could he? Yes. Will he? I don't know. Now, here's what could be cool with this. Similar to the Dark Order. Now, I'm just making a parallel comparison here. What if Karrion Kross is just a holdover as the leader and somebody bigger is the leader? You know, like in the beginning of the Dark Order, Evil Uno was the mouthpiece and the guy, but then Brody Lee came in. What if like heel Drew McIntyre is actually the guy who turned out, or some, you know, like we've been talking about all these people and how they're all turning, you know, they've become their dark side with the Karrion Kross stuff. Nakamura mentioned that he was going to be the author of Cody's final chapter, said author in his promo.
Yeah, I don't think that's a connection.
What if there's like more to this stable? That could be big. This is just going to be sort of like everything else with Karrion Kross. It's cool looking. They're all very cool and they're all fun.
Cool looking. But
I just don't know that it's going to, I don't know that it's going to play, because he's just, for whatever reason, he just can't get over on the main roster. He's cursed. He's like seemingly cursed on the main roster.
Do you have any Royal Rumble picks yet?
Like who's going to win it?
Yeah, like we could change them week to week if we want. Do you have any picks yet?
I mean, it's either Cody or CM Punk for the men, I think. And then for the women, I think it's Becky Lynch.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Becky Lynch, and then she goes after Rhea. Because unless it's Bayley and she goes after Rhea, I'm at a point where I still have no idea who goes after Rhea for Mania. Like what Rhea
Becky Lynch and Rhea would be awesome, but Becky's got to do something between now and winning the Royal Rumble, because the last we saw Becky Monday night, she got knocked the fuck out by Nia Jax, you know? So
but what does she have to do? She just go in and win the Rumble.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, but
I did like that Nia Jax beat her. It was unexpected. It's like, okay, cool.
And I don't think she was supposed to like hit her in the face again and make.
Yeah, I don't think she was either, which is crazy.
No, she's not. She wasn't. She wasn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You can always tell when the blood is real because it's kind of like splattered when it's real.
Well, it looked like last time. Not as bad. And last time changed the course of wrestling for a while. But no, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
But no, I think I will say this, by the way, on the Jade thing, if Jade is going to debut at Royal Rumble,
she is.
It's going to be to feud with Nia Jax, 100%.
It's a good way to get her over with the crowd because everyone hates
Nia Jax is eliminating people, and then Jade comes in.
Nia Jax like the only one standing in the ring now, and then Jade Cargill comes in. That would be cool.
That's perfect. Plus, like, it's a good feud for the beginning because it's not like she has to have like this crazy work rate to have matches against Nia Jax, right? Like, just hard hitting, two big women just like beating the crap out of each other. Yeah. It's not like she has to get in the ring with like Io or Rhea or whoever, you know? So,
yeah. Before we continue on here, Joey, one of our great sponsors, if you're thinking about getting a new home, you got to make sure you get a trusted real estate broker. I'm happy to have on board for a while now on Zaslow Show 2.0, and it's still real to me. Your trusted real estate broker. We're talking Matthew H. Mashler, Signature Real Estate Finder. If you're looking for your dream home, in any part of beautiful South Florida, look no further than Matthew H. Mashler, 561-208-3334, your trusted real estate broker. He's also chairman, one of the founders of BRCW, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. So you know he's a huge pro wrestling fan. He's always sitting in the front row of the huge events. He'll be there Wrestlemania. I know he would be at Royal Rumble coming up at the end of the month, but he's doing that Jericho cruise. He's going to be on that, which is happening at the same time as Royal Rumble. But again, if you're thinking about getting a home, you want to have a real estate broker who's going to help make the whole process easy for you. Maybe you're just looking to sell one of your current properties. Matthew H. Mashler, Signature Real Estate Finder, 561-208-3334, or go to realestatefinder.com. Maybe you're already in the business and you're ready to take your real estate career to the next level. You could join the Signature team. Signature Real Estate companies are South Florida's industry leaders. They rank #1 in Boca Raton, one of the tops in the entire state of Florida. So whether you're buying your dream home, Matthew H. Mashler, 561-208-3334. You want to sell your current property, realestatefinder.com, or you're just looking to join the best in the business. Contact Matthew at 561-208-3334, realestatefinder.com. Matthew H. Mashler, your pathway to exceptional real estate experiences. What do you make of Deonna Purrazzo, AEW? I've been a fan of hers for a while. I think she's great. But I did think, I love the promo.
She does not. Personally, I'll just tell you, she does nothing for me. But I mean, whatever. I mean,
I thought the promo was flat, to be perfectly honest. But I like her.
First of all, I think Mariah May is a massive star, and I think you kind of buried her debut match by having someone debut there. Like that part is a little weird to me. Because I think Mariah May is massive. Like, I think she's a stud.
She looks like if I wasn't watching wrestling for like a couple months and she came out to the ring and you said that that's Tiffany Stratton, I'm like, yeah, it's Tiffany Stratton. Like, she looks just like her.
I think she's hotter, but personally, that's just me.
But she looks just like Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton's a little more jacked.
Yes,
I think. But like, Deonna Purrazzo never did anything for me in NXT ever. Like, I didn't get it there, and I don't watch.
Well, neither did they, clearly.
Right, and I don't watch Impact. So if she was good in Impact, I have no idea.
Yeah, she was. I've seen her on Impact. I think she's really good.
I know people were excited about it because she was a free agent and people love her in Impact. And I guess people loved her in NXT. And I know that Tony Khan loves to do the hometown thing, but I didn't love the spot. Like, having her debut on top of Mariah May's debut match. I thought it was weird, but whatever. I was just excited because, again, you know, one of the things that we've gotten because of AEW and to an extent New Japan is we have like a true like wrestling free agency period now.
Yeah.
Like, the first couple weeks of the year is professional wrestling free agency, which
it's cool.
In every sport, it's like the funnest time of the year. Who's going where and what's going to happen.
But here's the difference, right? Like, can you imagine you're watching a Heat game or you're about to watch the Heat game and all of a sudden showing up for the Heat, Giannis is now playing for the Heat. He just shows up in uniform.
Right.
You didn't know about it. It just
Right.
happened. Like that's what it is.
Right. Yeah. And like, and part of the fun is like, we already know that certain people are going to show up. Now we're waiting for when they're going to show up. And then there's a handful of people like, we don't know where they're going to show up and like where they're going to go and what's going to happen. So I think, I watched live Monday and Wednesday this week for the first time in a while. I didn't like catch up afterwards, like thinking who's going to show up tonight. Cause there was rumors that Andrade was going to be on Raw. And then, there was rumors that
At this point with Andrade, you just got to wait for the Royal Rumble, right?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I guess he could show up on one of the shows and it would be fine. But, and then there was rumors that Mercedes Moné was potentially going to show up on AEW, which would have been cool also. All we got was Deonna Purrazzo, but we know at some point we're getting Will Ospreay. We know at some point we're getting Mercedes Moné. We know we're getting Andrade. We got the tease. How about the great tease by Ty, or what's his name? Ty Dillinger about putting out the day one. Tweeting day one just because it was day one that he's a free agent, not that he was showing up at day one. And he put a 10, like a Roman numeral 10, teasing that he was going to be at day one. That was pretty good.
So he'll be the number 10 entrant in Royal Rumble.
Yeah, they've done that before already. Yep. But yeah. Well, I'm not sure. Do you think it would still? Yeah, I guess it would probably still get the same pop it got.
Yeah, I think it'd still be cool. Yeah.
But that was my take on Purrazzo. Is like, cool to see people showing up when you don't know.
Can you explain something to me? So I know they did they do it or it's coming up this week? There's like a fatal 5-way match for Eddie Kingston's contender for the Continental title, right? Isn't that coming up? Or did that happen on Collision?
No, it wasn't. I don't think that. No, he fought Trent on Collision.
Yeah.
That was his first defense. I think there's a
okay. So that's fine then. So can you explain something to me then? So the Continental Championship, that's a belt that he's just defending now? Like that's a belt that exists?
It's called the Continental Crown, Zaz. Okay.
And so that's just that's a belt that exists now.
Yeah, I guess so. We need more belts. The AEW needs more belts.
That's weird to me because I would have thought it's like, okay, here's your prize for winning the Continental Crown. And now next year you'll defend it in the Continental Classic. And
that's what I mean. Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing.
But whoever is the champion will defend it in the Continental Classic.
I don't like that. I think my way would have been better. Or like MJF doesn't defend the Dynamite Diamond Ring. He has the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And every year, whoever wins that Battle Royal fights him for the Dynamite Diamond Ring.
Yeah. Well, Tony Khan loves belts. He just loves belts. There's so many belts.
Like the way they did this.
AEW has 800 belts.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. And I honestly, to your point of like why your idea is better, like I don't care about the Continental Classic unless the Continental Classic is happening.
Right.
So like being the Continental Classic belt holder means nothing.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Outside of the tournament. It's like, as an example, New Japan does the G1 Climax every year. There's not a G1 belt. You're just the winner of the G1 and you go on to Wrestle Kingdom.
Right. That's what it should be.
Right. Yeah. So yes, yeah. I agree.
It looks like, by the way, you believe now the last time we spoke, the Undisputed Kingdom debuted because we did our reaction show last week to the pay-per-view. And you believe that at some point Wardlow is going to turn on Adam Cole. You believe that Wardlow will actually join forces at some point, again, with MJF. And it kind of seems like this week when Adam Cole gave his marching orders to his crew there, what they're supposed to do, Wardlow is supposed to go after Samoa Joe now and win the world title. And then $1 Million Man style is expected to just hand it over to Adam
Christian
Cole.
Cage Luchasaurus style.
Yes, that's right. Supposed to just hand it over.
Right, exactly. As soon as we talked about it, Wardlow just didn't make a ton of sense in this group. They just seemed like they needed a big guy. He has his enemy. Like, they're not all enemies of MJF, by the way. Like the Kingdom.
Only Adam Cole and Wardlow are. That's it.
Right. Well, and Adam Cole wasn't like the Kingdom were only sort of enemies of MJF by proxy because the best friend thing, right? Like Roderick Strong's like, Adam's my best friend, blah, blah. But like now MJF's not there. So Wardlow being part of that crew didn't really make a ton of sense other than to set up an eventual Wardlow turn. Because at some point, by the way, Adam Cole's going to be a face again. Like, the crowd loves him. And at some point,
although he's not doing the boom anymore, if he stops doing that kind of shit, crowd's going to be pissed. That's a good move for a heel.
But eventually, you know how it is. It always comes back around. And then eventually they'll turn MJF again. And it'll probably have some, I think it'll have something to do with Wardlow. I don't know. But the way that went down this week, it's like, okay. But again, like, how do you feel about this group right now without MJF being there? It's like, okay, so Wardlow's not going to win the title. I think we know that. Or not anytime soon. So you have Adam Cole, who can't wrestle for however long. You have Wardlow, who's apparently going to go after Joe, but like, get in line, because Joe has basically taken that mantle from MJF where everyone in the company's after him, as it should be when you're the champion. And then you have the other two guys who are the Ring of Honor champs, and now Roderick Strong's going to go after Orange Cassidy. Like, all right. So this
I'm willing to give it a chance, especially because, you know, what I hoped was going to happen, it looks like it did happen, where you're going to have a bunch of other factions who are gunning for them, like the Bullet Club and the Acclaimed. And it's kind of like, you know, enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of deal that's going on now with Bullet Club and Acclaimed. And I think that's kind of cool. So I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, Bullet Club and Acclaimed are great.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But I don't know. This group's weird with that. I think it's a little weird. It's probably fine, but it's a little weird that they're just around now and MJF's not there. The whole thing was MJF, and now he's not there. So I don't know, but it's whatever. I like that. I like that AEW does the thing that they did with MJF, and obviously it seemingly is what they're going to do going forward with the title. That just everybody's gunning for the title. Like, it's not just like I have one storyline for the champ. Like, everyone's gunning for the title. Even I don't know if you saw this, and I don't know if we can take this seriously or not.
Go on.
It seems like trolling. They did a vignette on Collision with Hook, and Hook is going after Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I saw that.
Are we to take that serious?
Yeah, they're just going to feed Hook to Samoa Joe. It makes sense. He's got to build up the resume. He's got to get some wins under his belt as champion.
Oh, Samoa Joe does. I thought you meant Hook had to build up his resume.
No, he's got to get some wins under his belt as champion. Yeah, I can see it happening.
There's no one else bigger than Hook in the company that can fight Samoa Joe.
No, but you don't want to feed the really big guys to him right now. Let Joe get some wins, you know, with these.
That's fine, but like a pre-packaged, like pre-produced vignette for Hook to say he's going after Joe.
That's right.
Weird. That was weird. That was weird. But I do love that that's the whole thing, is everyone's going to go after him. And if it's not Adam Cole or MJF eventually winning it back from him, then I hope it's Swerve at some point.
All right, man. We got to get out of here because this Dolphin game's about 10 minutes away from starting. You got anything else? Whoa, what do you got?
The actual news of the week.
Yes.
Dolph Ziggler in New Japan.
Yeah, I saw, and he's Nick Nemeth, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's there with his brother as his bodyguard. He's going to fight David Finlay. I mean,
so is his brother not AEW anymore?
No, his brother's in AEW, but AEW has they're friendly with New Japan.
Okay.
Listen, to me, like this, like Dolph Ziggler is going to main event WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
At some point, Dolph Ziggler is going to come back to WWE and main event WrestleMania.
Why do you say that?
He's following the Drew McIntyre Cody blueprint, and
I hope so, because
Dolph Ziggler is awesome.
Yep.
And I was excited to see him in New Japan. Like,
Dolph's never had a singles match at WrestleMania. Never.
Yeah. Like, look,
fucked up.
A lot of these people, Sasha Banks, it was like, all right, they went, they did their thing, didn't gain anything from it, didn't really build a whole lot of momentum. They are kind of just where they were. I think this could be massive for Dolph.
Oh, I think Jericho gained a whole lot when he went to New
Japan.
Exactly.
Jericho. I think Dolph in New Japan, he's going to eventually probably main event a Wrestle Kingdom. I think he's going to be a huge international player in this.
I hope you're right. He's amazing. I hope you're right.
I thought that was massive. I loved seeing him there. I think that's so cool. And the opposite of cool, the opposite of Dolph, Matt Riddle debuting in MLW. Yeah. Get this guy off my screen. Don't need him. Don't want him. get him away. But this is what's great. The free agency. I love it.
Yeah. Good job, Joey. This was a nice show. It's a fun show today. Hope we were able to get everybody ready for, fill in the gap with between the football today. Get everybody ready for the Dolphins. Hopefully in about 3.5 hours from now, we're all feeling great. Yep. And then we wake up tomorrow morning. We got another edition of Monday Night Raw, another start to the week for pro wrestling. Joey, excellent job, by the way. Today's show, of course, brought to you in part by Bet Online. Joey, why don't you tell all your fans that you'll talk to them next week? Go ahead.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Go Fins. One way or another, next week, we take care of business.
All right. Great job. And we love wrestling. Go Dolphins. We'll talk to you on next week's edition of It's Still Real to Me. See ya.